We'll
There it
just.
goes. Now
there
it's
you go.
just broadcast is live.
All
there
right.
you go.
Yeah, that was my bad.
Okay.
Yeah, so sorry about that, everybody. I'm a tech giant, that's for sure.
Yeah, me
As
also.
America's next door franchise partner, we make
So
lives
whoever's
better
got
every
their
single
window
day
open is
by
gonna have
helping our
to
clients achieve their.
turn your YouTube volume down
Yeah, I just
if you
muted
have
my
a
YouTube
window
volume.
open. I don't
Isn't
think
that
I do.
something?
Let me check it. Let me check and make sure. No, I don't have a window
Yeah, no, I
open
already
either.
spoke about that with them before.
Okay.
That's why I saw somebody else come on here too and says still waiting. I said, what are
Now
you
we're on
waiting for?
YouTube.
Now it is. Now it's up.
Oh my
I didn't even
goodness.
notice that. That's how much
Well,
I'm.
Okay, so this
The
tech
party can
giant here
start.
will own the fact that made a big mistake already. And let me start out by letting everybody know, first off, good morning to everybody that's been in the chat. We've been chatting along on the side. They've seen us doing it. Hello, Bam. Check out the Rileys. Nice to see you here. We actually just now went live because I forgot to hit the go live. And we've been chatting along with each other here in the back screen. And so anyhow, I've got Dave with Got to Love Thailand and Tim with TNW living in Udon Thani, Thailand. And our topic today is discussions about building a home, expats building a home in Thailand and the process, trials and tribulations. Little Chef, how you doing? Good to see you here. Yeah, but first, that's what happens when you get guests on in the back screen and you start chatting and talking along and you kind of forget what you're doing. And I'm too green at doing this to start with.
Now you're doing fine.
So we've already chatted through a lot of things that nobody else really needs to know about. we'll just move on. What do you think?
Yep.
All right. Well, like I said earlier, maybe somebody can post their links up, Dave's and Tim's links, TNW Udon Thani, living in Udon Thani, Thailand, and Dave Got to Love Thailand. Both good channels, and they're have videos about their home builds and stuff. So it'd be good for you to check them out. How you doing, Cheryl? Nice to see you here. It's Franceschi's channel. So I'll start out first. This first question is going to be for both of you. It's a two-part question. And
Okay.
what brought you to Thailand and how long have you been there? Tim, we'll start with you.
So I retired and came here in November of this year. My wife is from Thailand. I met her in the United States 30 plus years ago.
Wow.
And we vacationed here many times. Her father gave us some land, and then we bought some more. But my idea a long time ago was to retire here, and finally made it happen.
How long do you say you've been there?
Well, we sold everything in the U.S. and came here in November of last year.
Oh, okay.
So I've been here in country 5-6 months now.
Okay, and Dave, you?
November 11th, I left the U.S.
Oh, cool.
I'll just, if you want to know more about why I came, you can check out my channel, and so I won't go into it too much here. But I was married for 27 years. My wife passed away in 2018. We were going to plan on coming to Thailand to check it out. I said, what the heck, I'm going. Came for 2 weeks, flew back, packed 3 bags full of stuff, and in November of 2018, I came here and been here ever since, and have remarried since a year ago, and we built a house together here. So I've been here 3.5 years, I guess, almost 3.5 years now.
Now, some of your answers might intersect with some of my questions that are coming up. So if it is, just re-answer that way.
You get it.
Yeah, the next question is also a two-part question. Is how long were you in Thailand when you decided to build your house, and why did you build in the locations where you're at? Go with you
Go ahead,
again,
Dave.
Tim.
Oh, me. I decided probably 10 or 12 years ago this is where I wanted to retire. And I was ready to go then, but the wife wasn't. So we just waited and waited, and then COVID happened. And I think that was, we had a lot more free time, both of us being at home all the time, not working. I said, look, let's just sell everything and go. We'll build a house over there. So I finally got her to agree to that. So we pretty much sold everything we had except for some clothes. We left all our winter clothes at our daughter's house and came over here.
And where is that?
We're in a little village called Suknom Khao, which is 8 or 10 kilometers outside of the city of Udon. So I've got everything I need. 10-minute ride away. I've got Lotus, Big C, the mall, Starbucks, you name it. Everything you have in Surin, I have here.
And where did you come from?
I was living in Maryland.
Oh,
I'm from Kentucky. That's where I grew up. But I was in the Air Force and got stationed at Fort Meade, Maryland. And they wanted to send me to Alaska. And I was 21 at the time. And I said, I'm not going to Alaska. I'm not re-enlisting. So I got out and stayed in that area. I met my wife a few years after that.
Okay, and Dave, you?
I met my wife of now when I want to say we've been together 2.5 years. So she had told me maybe, God, I'm going to think 2 years ago that she had this piece of property in Surin, bought and paid for. It's not a big, it's just a lot, what I would consider a lot. And she took it upon herself. I mean, she went out. I put money into the house, of course, but she procured the loan for over $2 million, and we built it. We just moved in here January. Took almost a year to do, and so from the first time that we met, we hit it off immediately anyway. But she had mentioned that I didn't really. To me, it didn't really matter whether I paid $10,000, $12,000, or $14,000 baht on a rental, or whether I paid, her, which is our mortgage. It's basically her home. It didn't really make a difference to me. Why not? Why not do that? So
we moved here because this is where my wife's family is from.
Yeah, and that's the way it is here. My wife's never going anywhere.
Okay, how did you? This isn't one of my questions I had up here. First off, Cheryl Franceschi's channel, Jai is good. She's right here next to me, working, doing doing her thing. I don't know that she's going to come on camera. She surprised me last week and came on camera, or the week before last, whenever I did my last one. So anyhow, Dave, how did you meet your wife? Because she's in Surin and you were living
in Phuket, in Kamala.
Yeah.
I came to Kamala only because of Rob, 20 Seconds in Thailand. Not so much. I mean, he's a nice guy. I met him. He's okay. But I liked what I saw. I liked the size of the area that I was looking at. So I went there. I was there for 8 months. And a guy from Udon, Bob, and his wife, Pooh, a Thai lady, they had a coffee shop there that I went to. And through them, I got introduced to my wife. We did the line thing for 4, 5, 6 months before we met up. And when we met up, we immediately hit it off, and I moved to Surin. So that's where we are. We're about, I don't even know, from what I consider downtown Surin, maybe 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers, something like that. Not far.
Good evening. Yeah, it's nice to see you here. So you're on the opposite side of town where our property is in. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you're up
'Cause-
towards Elephant Village, right?
Yes, we're on
Yeah.
that side. On that same street that you take off out of Surin to go to the Elephant Village, we're 4 kilometers out.
Yeah, so you're not that far. I mean, there's not really much. I mean, you'd be surprised. You get to Surin and somebody says they live in Surin, and my wife said, "Oh, we're going to go to my aunt's house." I said, "Where does she live?" Surin, and we drive for an hour.
Yeah.
Before we, and you're
Yeah.
still in Surin, so it's kind of misleading, I guess. The area, it's pretty big, but I like, if I had my druthers, I'd be like in my green screen. I'd be by the water, but everything else couldn't have went better. So, but yeah, so we decided to build here. It's fine with
I'm
me.
a little bit behind. Good morning, Explore with Drew. Nice to see you here. I didn't catch you come in. I saw somebody else telling you hi. Anybody else that's come in that I missed too? Nice to see you here. I already said hi to you, Jake. I don't know if you heard me because Dave was talking.
I do that.
Okay, same with you, Tim. Again, it wasn't part of my questions I have up here, but how did you meet your wife? She's Thai, and was she already living in the U.S. and she speaks
Yep.
English?
He was living in the U.S. I got invited to a 4th of July party, and she was there. That's how I met her. Been with her ever since.
That's a long time. 30 years, right?
Brock, Dave
yeah,
was rambling.
I do
30,
that.
31 years, 32 years now.
Well,
Wow.
good for you. Yeah, so
That's amazing.
Dave's the newlywed of all of us.
Yeah, for my 4th time, but yeah, newlywed.
Yeah.
One and done.
Yeah, that's what it was really weird because just real quick, the first 2 were one I had 2 kids with, but still was only married to her 9 months to the first one, 9 months to the second one that had my kids, and then married for the 27 years and with her for 30 years for the one that died from cancer. So it took me, I don't know, what do they say, 3rd time's a charm, and now 4th time's a charm because my Thai wife is unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm on my 3rd. I was one and done 3 times, but this one's for sure done.
Yeah, and that's the way I feel here too.
Okay, well, we'll go back to the questions that I did have
Sure.
up here. Is
Hi, Gator, by the way.
You both already said how you procured your properties. They were already pretty much owned. So the other big question, something in my mind, is how did you choose house plans? How did you go about getting plans? And I'll start with you, Dave.
With me?
Yeah.
We got lucky. Her uncle, her cousin. They call brothers. I don't know how familiar people are with Thailand. Everybody's their sister and brother, at least most of them, but they're cousins mostly. He was a builder, and he graciously offered and did us a good job. Took a long time, but we had all the virus and everything going on. Chinese steel went through the roof, and he had a hard time, but he stuck with it and did an excellent job. But he drew the plans. He's also a architect, I guess, what I would call him. He brought it to the Surin city and got it stamped and did everything that was supposed to be done correctly. He did it all, so we got lucky.
Okay, and you, Tim?
I did a lot of research online a couple of years ago, probably started 3 years ago, just Googling Thailand houses and that sort of stuff. And I came across a website that had a bunch of different not built houses, but blueprints,
Design.
I guess. And it had a bunch of housing designs. And I found one that had most of what I wanted in it. So I flagged that page, and then I started looking for an architect or somebody in Thailand here in Udon that could, put that on paper for me and make those changes. So I think I was on Udon Map is a website that's predominantly expats in this area here, and one of them had mentioned a place, so we tried to reach out to them, and the guy wanted money up front, and I didn't feel too good about that, so I said something to my wife one day when she was talking to her niece here. I said, I need to find a good architect, somebody that can design this house for us. And she put us in touch with a guy his name is Egg, and he owns a company called CE, which is Concept Engineering. He's an architect, and he has a pretty good record here. So I sent him the plans that I had penciled up on a piece of paper. I emailed those to him, and he emailed me back a blueprint. And I made some changes to that. And after 3 or 4 iterations, I liked what I was getting back. So I hired him to do a complete blueprint with they call it BOQ here, bill of quantities. In America, we call it bill of materials. But I hired him to give me a complete set of drawings with the bill of materials. And then I sat on that for a year or so. And then when COVID started, I emailed him back and I said, hey, I know this plan was drawn up 2 years ago and the BOQ has probably changed. Can you update it and tell me what it would cost me to have this done now? And
Thank you, Joe.
He did that for me at no additional charge. And then when we finally pulled the plug over there and moved here, I went out and traveled around Udon area looking at houses that he had built already. Some close to where we live and some on the other side of town. But there was a range of houses that were one that was just completed to one that was 6 or 7 years old. So I could kind of see how they were holding up to the test of time. And I was pretty impressed. And then I also, just to make sure I was covering all my bases, I talked
Tommy
to
J.
builders as well.
Tommy J. said hi to you a couple times.
Yeah, I said,
Gave them my
I wrote it already.
gave these other builders my blueprints and asked them for a price. And they were nowhere in the ballpark of what this guy that did the blueprint, he had the best price. And the other thing that helped me make a decision to go with him is he had English speaking people on his staff. He speaks a little English, but he had another engineer.
It makes it.
He had another engineer that spoke pretty good English. And then before we sat down and signed any documents or gave him any deposits, I talked to his engineer for an hour or so one day, and it just felt right to me. I never felt comfortable with any of the other builders I talked to. I went and saw some of their work, and it was 2 or 3 years old. There was cracks in the walls, and things weren't plumb and square, and it was like, I'm not going to spend good money for that. So I chose CE Concept Engineering. Same guy that did my blueprint is the same guy I hired to build the house.
Oh, okay.
And,
so that kind of answers one of my other questions. How did you decide on a contractor? So you both really answered that already. One's family and one impressed you.
But I did check him against other people. I mean, I talked to 3 other builders as well as him. So he just made me feel more comfortable than the others. And his price was, in my budget range.
Hello, CJ. How you doing, CJ? Fish on.
Quick,
nice to see you
I don't
here.
think I ever asked him. Did they put pylons down in your?
They drove
your footings? Pylons in. Makes a big difference. Big difference.
Yeah,
it's a little different style. The
one of my videos.
I didn't go back that far. I actually did. If you guys would like, I can play their short, like 2.5 minute clips that I pulled together of each of your builds, and it can kind of show.
For a long time. And one of the first things we did was fill it with dirt as soon as we bought it. So my land sat with dirt on it through 5 or 6 seasons of rain and dry, and it settled. So he came out and drove a steel rod in the ground to determine how far the pilings had to go.
For most of you that don't know, I'm an engineer, and I've been in construction and civil type work all my life. Starting from the Army, I was in the engineers in the Army. So my intention is, because the property that we have already had the dirt built up on it, and it's semi-compacted, I'm guessing, but there's a lot of new material that's around the property from when they dug out the ponds and the little canals. I think I'm going to raise the elevation for the entire area where the house and yard and stuff's going to be, and raise it higher. And compaction's a huge thing here in the U.S., and you can do that with a good sheep's foot roller. If I can rent something like that, I can do all the work myself.
I wondered why they did. You know why they don't do that here? Because I built on my property that I had, I built a 30 by 60 with 18-foot eave metal building there with a big slab on it, and I had to have the pad cut, and then I had to have compaction tests, stuff for septic system, the drainage, all that kind of stuff. But they use the vibrating compactors to do
just
it.
The little vibrators. Yeah,
the big ones, but
yeah, that's still not going to get it done like a sheep's foot compactor will. You doing road construction and stuff, you can get 96-97% compaction. That's like brick hard.
Right. I don't know, they met whatever they needed to for the deal, and I think the slab was 8 inches thick. I don't remember all the stuff, but I never seen them compact anything here. It's always let it go for a year and then build whatever you want.
Good morning, Jam. Okay. Nice to see you here.
So,
they actually drove steel rods in my land to determine how far down they needed to go with those pilings.
How far
they don't use the nuclear devices, the ones that you put them on there and tell what your compaction level is?
No, they had steel rod about this big around, and they beat it into the ground with a sledgehammer, and then they screwed another piece on top of that, and they pounded that into the ground. I think they went 8 or 9 meters down.
Wow.
And then the guy said that it's not as bad as we thought, so we thought we were going to have to go deeper than that. But they didn't.
Yeah,
so save me some money.
Everything that I've seen from the stuff that's been built and all that kind of stuff, regardless I would put in the pylons.
Yeah, I had a place up at Nacimiento Lake that it was a requirement up there to put in the pylons that were like 20 to 30 feet deep, depending on what the compaction level said, because of the water content.
Right.
And I know in our place there in Seren, the wells hit water in about 10 feet. So the water level is not very far down, and I imagine that's probably the case in most of Seren because it's so much. Tropical raining.
I think so. I think it is.
I did a video on that machine that was driving those pilings in the ground, and I think the pilings that they drove in for the foundation of the house were probably 12 or 15 feet, and they only left about that much of it sticking up out of the ground.
Right. And that's about what mine, I think mine were like 20. I was guessing. I didn't put a tape measure on. They looked like they were 18, 20 feet long. But I don't know if I got that in the video or not. It was right when the house started. And I don't know if I got it or not.
I don't remember seeing that. I know I saw when you were doing the pillars, they formed them and did the ceremonies and everything. And now yours, I know you did that, Dave, because of the religious beliefs for your wife. Tim, did you have to do the blessings too?
Yep, we did that too.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I'm going to have to do that because Jai is Christian, not Buddhist. I don't know if that makes any difference, but.
Yeah, I don't know if it does or not. I never really asked my wife, is this only if you're Buddhist, or is it just something that Thailand does when they build? But I think it's Buddhist. I think it's Buddhist.
I think it's Buddhist too.
I got to drive out when I bought my new Nissan, the hybrid. I was told to sit inside the little showroom that was glass and open on the front, and you cannot drive out until 9:09 a.m. Then you can roll on out. So I had to sit there and wait while they took pictures. It had to be a good day, had to be a good time, had to be a good, it's just the way they do it. And I just roll with the punches.
So that's why you couldn't take your car until the 22nd?
That's why I couldn't get it till the 22nd, because I wasn't, it'd been ready to be delivered.
I didn't go through that. I bought a Ford truck, and they were going to add some things to it because you can't beat them up on price over here, but you can get them to add
That stuff.
steps, bed liners,
Right.
window
Oh, really?
tint,
That's good to
that
know.
sort of stuff. So
Yeah, they
I
tinted
had
my
them add
windows.
steps and a
They
bed
put the
liner, a
rain,
window tint,
yeah,
and the rain guards. Yep.
rain green thing. Yeah, they did the
Well,
same.
tell
And then
me,
they brought
I'm
the truck out to
curious.
our house a couple of days later.
Do
Go
you
ahead,
either of you know anything about? I heard somebody say something the other day that within the first 6 months of you going there, that you can bring a car with you. Do you know? Is that true?
You could, but you'll pay out the ass.
Yeah, you pay
Pardon my
taxes.
French, in import taxes. It's not worth it. I looked into doing that.
All right.
I was going
The
to bring
only
my
thing
wife's
I will,
Audi here.
the only thing I'll
It
tell
would've cost
everybody,
me
which
close to
I never
$50.
checked into it, but Thailand Digital Nomad Tom, if you're coming here with the Thai National and you're moving here to get retired, according to what Tom said, and it's supposed to be true, he's got a room, a whole condo next to him full of boxes. You could bring something like 40 boxes, whatever size they are, whatever's in them. You don't get taxed. You don't get anything on it. You can bring them in and you don't have to pay anything. And he brought all
That's-
sorts of stuff.
We did do some of that kind of stuff.
Did you?
Sheets, blankets, pillows. You can go to Home Depot or Lowe's and buy what's called a large packing box. They make them in a bunch of sizes, but there's one that's stamped on the outside of the box says large. It was $90 a box to ship it here. Is that what?
Was it?
Yeah, $90 a box, and I shipped about 30 boxes here. A lot of it was summer clothes, shoes, towels.
And you didn't have to pay
sheets.
tax, right? No tax, no nothing.
No tax.
Yeah.
So
So you might want to
and
check
they
into
actually
that.
came to
Bob.
my house. They came to my house and picked that stuff up, and it was delivered to whatever address I gave them here.
Well,
And it
start
made
this,
it, they
friend.
ship it on a boat, and it made it here pretty quick. I was impressed.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what Tom said. And
It's whatever
Because
you can shove
they
in
will
those
tax
boxes.
yeah, they'll do it. You know, so if you
I
could
should-
shove a car into a large box, you could bring it in. But, I don't know if you could do that. But
So
yeah,
the
I
company
did hear
that
that.
we used is called Savannah Shipping.
Use
so you guys
what?
don't-
And if you want the number, Bobby, I can give you a phone number.
What did you say the name
It's
was?
called Sinava, SINNAVA Shipping LLC.
All right.
I'll
Might
give
be
you the
something
phone
you might
number
wanna
and,
check into.
and then stuff afterwards. But they come to your house, they pick up all the boxes, they're all shrink wrapped. And then they get delivered here and they're still shrink wrapped. So it was I thought it was a pretty good deal. My wife had used them before just to send stuff to the family, like when she would clean out her closet and want to get rid of some clothes. Instead of taking them to Goodwill, she'd throw them in a box and ship it over here.
Hmm.
It's a little slow compared to UPS or the mail, but you can
Really,
ship
what-
bigger
what's
weights.
it- What's it matter as long as it gets there?
Yeah, that's all.
Right.
You're retired.
Yeah,
you
you're
can
there
wait
to
a
stay.
I shipped my whole. I have a racing simulator. I'm big into that, and I've got a very expensive PC and a virtual reality headset and all that. I've shipped all that stuff over here.
That's awesome.
Didn't cost,
Because they
cost me
will
$90,
hit you with
$90 a box.
yeah, heavy tax on whatever they want. If they think if you've got a laptop or you have a computer in there and they figure it's worth 5,000 American dollars, they're gonna tax the living crud out of you.
But if you
according to
carry
this, it
that
was like-
stuff over with you in your backpack or in
you
your
can
luggage,
to a certain extent. You can carry as long as I wouldn't bring anything new. Like if you bought a new laptop, I would take it out of its packaging and stick it
yeah.
into
Yep.
something like that. But they don't. Yeah, and I think it's like. Do you know how many boxes they let you take? I want to say 40, but
Yeah, Tim
I
said
don't-
40.
We sent 30 at least,
Yeah,
and
I
it may
think,
be
I
more
think,
than that.
and you can ask
Yeah, that's-
Tom next time
Trader
we
Jake's
do
got
a
it up
live
there.
stream. And I think it was who was it back here that was excited on your Ford? I think it was Fish On. He gave you the thumbs up when you said Ford.
I will, Drew. That's one of my questions I was going to ask of them, but I might as well go to that one right now. And when I get to it and I ask again, then just say you just asked that. So what Drew is asking is about the power. one of the questions I had is, when you're ready to build in the United States, having the power nearby or at the property is a huge deal. And is it overhead or do they bring it in underground? In the U.S., everything now is going underground.
Underground, yeah, it's not here. Everything is still pretty much overhead. You can have it brought underground once you get to your property. You can have it brought in, but I think it was, hey, baby, how much was the to get the electric brought to the property? And we had to buy a pole too, a temp pole, right? That was 10,000 baht.
I had to buy 3 poles.
Right.
Did you freeze up, Tim?
No, I'm reading. I've got my notes on what I've spent so far.
Oh, okay.
You know how much it was?
So you brought 3 poles in. Is that from the street to your house?
Yep, 3 poles.
You don't remember how much it was to have? Yeah,
Sand and gravel. Cabling. You can buy
7,000 for them to bring it because it was close.
I bought copper, and then the labor to install all of that. I paid 11,000 baht for the 3 posts, 70 baht for the sand and the gravel, 18,500 baht for the cabling, and then $3,500 in labor to have all that installed and hooked up to a meter. So what is that?
Okay, that's to come from the street into your actual building site.
Into my property, yep. And
Mine was closer.
I'm probably 300 meters from the where the power pole is that I had to connect to.
Mine, she just told me it was 7,000 baht to bring it. They only needed 1 pole or something. And then for the temporary pole that we bought, we had to pay 10,000 baht for that pole with the meter and everything on it.
Okay, so you came from the street, 40,000 baht, which would be what, $3,000?
About $1,000, a little over $1,100.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, about 1,000, 1,200, something like that.
Yeah, that's very reasonable.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
So you bring it into the property overhead, and then once you get it to basically a construction pole at the property, then you drop it down underground to come up into the house.
You can if you want to. I did.
Right
so
now,
you don't
I just have a cable laying on the ground right now.
Yeah, you got a temp pole like I did for a long time.
You know, I tell you what,
I didn't bring it up.
I went to the effort of making the videos. I'll play one first.
Yeah, go ahead.
Since and what I did, I went onto each of their channels. I don't think I said this after I actually went live, but I went onto each of their channels and took 2 videos at stages where they're at. And I just kind of chopped them and put little pieces together so you could at least see something of what they're building. So since Dave's is basically done, I'm going to show his second. I'm going to show Tim's first because it's kind of in his beginning stages right now. So each of them are 2.5 minutes long. I'll play Tim's first, and then we can chat for a little bit, and then I'll come back and play Dave's. All right?
Sounds good.
Yep.
They said, don't fall, don't forget all the things you've been taught, you've been told. Don't blink, don't run, don't turn left or turn right or look straight at the sun. My mind's going in circles, I'm trying to fight it. Getting these voices inside to stay quiet. Going to the place where all this began. Just start again. Oh, you won't see the light until the dawn breaks. No, till it's all said and done, you won't know what it takes. Gotta make a wrong turn and turn around. Gotta fall first to pick yourself up off the ground. Until you get lost, you'll never be found. And you can't start again until you break down. You'll surely get burned if you reach out and touch. My mind is a battle, I'm trying to hide it. Getting these voices inside to stay quiet. Going to the place where all this began. Start again. Won't see the light until the dawn breaks. No, till it's all said and done, you won't know what it takes. Gotta make a wrong turn and turn around. Gotta fall first to pick yourself up off the ground. Until you get lost, you'll never be found. And you can start again until you break down. Break down. Until you break down.
That was great. You
Yeah, it
had
looked good.
so
job.
anxious while they were taking their break for Songkran because it was like you got stopped for 2 weeks looking at just a bare pad, right?
Yep, nothing going on.
Yeah, I even made
That's
a
the first
comment
time
on his
they've
channel that
actually
you need
stopped
to
work, too.
post more, get more involved in here, and put more about what they're doing, building. And he says they've been on Songkran, so nothing I can do about it. They're stopped.
Well, from what I saw though in his house, when
really-
they got back on the job, they put up a lot of wall
Oh my
in a
God, the
short period
walls!
of time.
They blew
I
them in
think
there
they're
fast.
they're doing a good job. That's for sure. For sure.
Okay, now
And so you guys
something.
over Rick.
The
Go ahead.
thing I left to the end, unfortunately, whenever neither of them had the ability to clip a piece out of their video. So I had to screen capture, copyright it even with their watermarks on it, screen capture pieces and then splice them together and put a little music behind it.
I thought it looked great. I thought you did a great job.
Yeah,
Oh,
all right.
thanks. So anyhow, Tim had a lot of good commentary on what was going on in his house. So it was unfortunate I couldn't capture that. But the one thing I wanted to make sure I did capture is that last little piece showed how the double wall is going to be with the red brick. So maybe you can discuss that. Are they going to put the secondary piece of the wall now to the inside of the walls they're building?
So that's a great question because I learned today that they only do that where there's going to be a lot of water. So bathrooms and kitchens.
Yes.
That's the only place they do that double block. Everything else is single block. And the
Really?
red brick is better for the heat. Yep.
That's
Huh.
supposedly what they did on Joe's too. Foreigner Joe's was the same way. They did it one.
Yeah.
He did his all red. I did mine all the white solid.
Yeah, I was going to ask whenever I show your clip, what's the difference between the red and the white bricks? The two, yours is more like a cinder block, Dave, and
Right.
Tim's is more like a red clay.
It depends on who you talk to. You ask 10 people that, and you'll get 10 different questions or answers. I'm sorry, but some say it's cooler with this. Sometimes better insulation. It's better for the reason I picked it because I looked at it and said they've got to be able to lay this stuff twice as fast as the red. But I'll tell you what, the guys are fast because at that point, like I said, my house should have been done 3 months before I got it done because of stuff. So I was kind of antsy. I just wanted to get the thing done. And when it came up, I asked 10 people, got 10 different answers. I just said, give me the white one. So, but they just still did the bathrooms in red. All my bathrooms are done.
So anywhere
in
there's water, it's
double
always
red.
going to be
Yeah.
the red brick. Always.
Okay, so
And
the thing
doesn't matter
that it's very obvious on Dave's as they were building his that they break out a piece of the cinder block to run the electrical and stuff inside it, but the red brick isn't as thick.
They still do it the same way.
They'll do it the same way.
Yeah, it'll still
We
be.
use like a hashless conduit.
Yeah, I'm thinking it would be better if which I may do with ours, to have the double brick on all walls. That way your electrical can be inside that and you've got a double layer with a barrier in the middle.
the builder that you're talking about getting the price from and going with, that's the way he builds.
Oh,
He
okay.
builds double block,
Yeah,
but it's
I also,
it's a regular block, regular common cheapest probably block that they have in Thailand. I shouldn't say cheapest, but it's that narrow stuff. It leaves a gap, and then another one's just two. It's doubled
yeah,
up.
yeah,
It's
that
supposed to
air
be good.
barrier in there is, yeah, the air barrier's got to be great because it'll
I would
trap
I would
kind of
think
like
so.
your attic.
Yeah, I would think so.
And then you've
Um,
got a good place for your electrical and stuff to be that's easy to add or change and move
and I
from
bet you
point.
100 to 1 they probably won't use it. I bet you they carve it out and put it in there. I don't know. I didn't watch, but they might.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, they may.
It's different building here. You look at something, but you got to look at, and I don't know what it's going to cost Tim. It's up to him whether he says or not. I know I've told what mine is worth. My house, without the land and everything, where are you going to get a house like mine anywhere in the United States for under $100,000 US?
Right. And that's
that,
just the
My
house there,
house
right,
without
Dave?
the pool.
what's that? I'm sorry, Tim.
You froze up,
freeze?
Tim.
He did freeze. Mine
I
with
said
the with.
My
Oh,
house
good.
is 2.4 million.
How much?
We're talking over.
Yeah, go ahead.
My house without the pool is 2.4 million.
2.4.
And
Okay.
mine without my plunge pool, koi pond, and the building in the backyard is probably about 2.5. It's about 3 is what I'm estimating done because I'm building a small pool. Tim's building a big real pool, what I consider a real pool. Mine's a little go in there and get out of the sun and relax and cool down a little bit.
Yeah, really, I've had a swimming pool in every house I've owned here in America for all my life. And we literally, this pool we have in our backyard right now, we've been in it probably 3 times in 2 years. So I just recently pumped it all out. I'm going to refinish the interior of the pool, do the new epoxy paint, and refresh the tile, and I'm basically getting it ready to sell.
So
where are you in the U.S.?
I'm in Southern California, Rancho Cucamonga.
He's not far from the Speedway, California Speedway.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Fontana, really close.
Fontana. But
and on the other side, Dave, is the Pomona drag strip. So I'm right in between. Sometimes you can actually hear them racing too.
You're in a great spot.
Yeah.
I like where Bobby's at. But
I just did a video on the NHRA museum that's right down the road. It's unbelievable. I mean, you talk about John Force's race car. I got inside the cockpit of one of his funny cars, and I'm obviously a bigger guy than he is because I had to pack myself in there to where there's no way I could have drove the car like that. But it was scary to me just sitting in the seat of it, and I knew there was no way it was ever going to start. So anyhow, I digress.
It's definitely a good area, but I will use this one. I'm going to cover the pond, or the pool is going to be about here, 1.2, 1.3 meters, and it's going to be approximately 3 by 4 meters. And she wants a couple of jets on the side of it to blow bubbly air in.
So more like a spa, hot tub.
Yeah, like a large jacuzzi. But I'm going to cover it too because I'm white, as you can tell.
Yeah, get the sun off you.
Yeah, I want to be able to enjoy myself, not go in and turn into a lobster. So
I don't want to have the pool own me. When I get there, my intentions are to have a home that's a landing spot, but we're going to travel like mad.
Right. Yeah, you might not need it. But I don't know. I'm going to see it till we lost him. But you still hear me?
Yeah, I still hear you fine.
Okay. And I know that a couple of people were asking questions here. I know Gray's asked a question. What are the Thai outlet requirements? Same as the U.S., or do you have to buy new voltage items? I think Brock answered it. They're 220 here, in case he didn't. Yeah, there you go, 220, 50 hertz, correct. There he is. He's
Dropped
back.
out for a
My internet
minute.
dropped out.
Yeah.
But yeah, Brock answered a lot of the questions.
So how much
Explore-
is the swimming pool going to cost in your case, Tim?
Somewhere between 600 and 800,000, and that's
Do
with
you
2 meters of concrete around the edges.
are you
And is that a
familiar with
saltwater?
Foreigner Joe's pool?
I've seen his videos. He has a liner pool. I'm
Right.
getting a fiberglass pool.
Oh, okay.
I could have got a tile pool, but the cost would have tripled.
Yeah,
They're expensive.
mine here is a gunite pool.
Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah,
expensive.
I haven't seen
over
any
there.
gunite here.
If you go down to
The-
Phuket, you can find it down there. But
Gunite?
I looked into that too. That's really expensive here.
So you
Both
say
my
yours is
pond-
what kind? It's a fiberglass liner?
Yeah.
And you don't think there'll be any problem with the fiberglass separation there with all the extreme heat?
I don't
Not
think
from
so. I
everything
don't
I
think they
read.
will.
The,
Yeah,
the
me too.
manufacturer's out of Australia, so if they're making them and using them in Australia in that heat, it should work in this heat.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
they've come a
think so.
long ways. Back
And-
when they first came out, the fiberglass was having a little bit of trouble.
I
Hello,
think
Beth.
think
How
the
you
shell has
doing?
a
Nice to see you
10-year
here.
I've read the same as Tim that there's no problem with anything that I've read about the fiberglass thing. Mine's going to
Okay.
be concrete block, so both
I have
the
friends
pond
that
and
have
the pool.
liner pools, and then within 3 or 4 years, they start sagging away from the sides.
I
Yeah,
never
one of
did ask
mine-
Joe why
One
he
of
did
my
it, but
pools was a liner pool, and what I had trouble with on it is the section just above the water. It actually hardens and starts cracking with the sunlight and the calcium deposits and chlorine burn.
no one-
So I
Now-
had to replace it once.
Is it saltwater, Tim?
I don't know. I guess I haven't decided which way I want to go yet. My
It's
builder told me
expensive.
I could do either or.
Yeah, I know saltwater is more expensive, but it's supposed
Yeah.
to be easier maintenance wise.
It is. I have saltwater. Mine here is a saltwater pool,
So
but
what makes the cost difference? Is it the
it's the,
It's
the
actually
equipment.
the thing the equipment
Yeah.
that does the actual.
So it's
It
mine's got a
makes
main
chlorine is
heart.
what it does.
Yeah,
makes
mine's got a
chlorine.
main heart unit that produces the chlorine that puts in your pool. And that if it fails, it's like $1,200 US just to buy the piece, and then you got to get it put in or put it in.
And I haven't decided what I'm going to do with my little. I think I'm just going to use just regular chlorine. I don't really want to spend a bunch of money on the.
Yeah, they're expensive. I haven't replaced mine, and I probably won't. I just add chlorine to it. I just do it as a chlorine pool.
that's probably what I'll
Everybody's
do.
fascinated. Yeah, I don't know. I just like I said, both the pond and the pool are going to be block, smooth coated, and I haven't decided whether I'm going to just treat the pond because there's a way to treat it with bamboo. You fill it up with water. You throw not bamboo, banana or plantain trees. You cut them up. You throw them in there. You leave it in there for 2 weeks. It treats the concrete and gets all the lime and all the crap out of it, and it brings the pH. The problem with the concrete for the koi fish is it drives the pH 9, 10 and up, which isn't fantastic. And this, I guess, here in Asia they do it all over, and in the Philippines, and it takes like 2 weeks, and you start seeing little bugs and stuff swimming around in through the banana rotting stuff. Then you fish it all out, drain it, squirt it down, fill it back up, and throw your fish in. So, but with the pool, I think I'm going to have them smooth coat it. I'm going to seal it somehow, and then use the little tiles. What are they? 1 inch by 1 inch, 2 inch
Yeah.
by 2 inch tile, and do it in tile.
You
And
see,
I'm
Jake
hoping-
says that he had to replace the control panel on his was $400. I had to replace the control panel on mine as well, but it's the generator is the one that's expensive. If the
Expensive,
generator fails, you got to really do some soul searching. Do I want to spend the money to buy that?
I can't get my hand right. But let's see.
I think I'd have to look at the big picture as far as what does it cost you to maintain a saltwater pool versus a chlorine pool? What are your yearly outputs? And if I have to take that $400 or $500 hit every 5 or 6 years, put that
Right.
into the equation.
Yeah, I would have mixed. I'd have the pool man, whoever you decide to go with, explain everything to you.
Oh, I will.
Because it's my understanding that the salt that you put in there actually works in with the piece there and changes that and makes chlorine, and it keeps it there. So it's actually producing the chlorine from the salt, but I don't know either. I would talk to them, and if they say, like you said, weigh it out and see what see what they say. I would. I know there's a lot less maintenance once you get it set up. Yeah, and because my brother did it, he changed his when he put his in, and he loves it. Once he got it dialed in, it was like real easy to make.
It is. The saltwater pool is absolutely the great way to go. It is maintenance free. Jake said that in the comments here. It's maintenance free. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
So if you're traveling a lot and you're trying to take care of the pool yourself, then that would be the way to go. And I don't know, around Saran, do they have a lot of pool care people?
I don't know, to tell you the truth. I haven't really, because I don't have a pool, so I don't. And they must have some people. Well, I don't know.
There's at least 3 or 4 here in Udon.
Is there? Yeah. So
because I went out and talked to a couple of people that come. I went to 2 different places to build pools, and they were right off a ring road around Udon. So. And they were easy to find on the internet, and I've driven around since then and seen others. So,
see, I just didn't have the room to put in a real pool. There's no room on this property. If you ever see my house and my property, you'll realize I don't have the room for the stuff that I'm putting in. But somehow it's going to fit. So we'll see. I haven't gotten the backyard done yet. I've got a temporary koi pond in the backyard now, holding about 40 koi, and then the area that I'm going to dig for the plunge pool or the jacuzzi, and for the new koi pond is all you can get to it and access it. So we'll see. Hopefully, it might start that in a month. We'll see.
Well, I'm thinking if I want to get in something and cool off, we have the ponds all behind the house. I'll just jump in the pond and cool down.
I don't see why not. I've been in my koi ponds.
Well, thank you.
If you look at my koi pond right now is crystal clear. I mean, there's no problem. The fish don't care.
They don't care if you get in.
Nah, it might freak them out a little bit, but they'll get over it. I really enjoy the fish. I just did a video on those too. But some people like it, some people don't. I've been doing it I was thinking about the other day, almost 40 years I've had fish. So
wow. Nice to see here, RDA channel. Okay, the next question I have that's a huge problem here in the United States is permits. What's the permit process there, and what kind of expenses? Because I mean, in the United States, it drives you nuts. They have what they call a bedroom tax now when you're building, and all kinds of crap.
You won't have much problem with that, Bobby.
No,
that's in the city. They had to go, but it was minimal. It was nothing. He went in, brought it out, and I'm guessing off the top of my head. I don't know. I'd ask my wife, but it's minimal. And if you're outside of the city, I don't even think they ask. Are they asking you for stuff? No. If you're in the city, like where I am, kind of, they'll question some stuff. But he handled all that up front with the plans.
My builder's handling all of that.
Yeah, it was all stamped. He took care of everything. I don't remember ever paying, hey, I need, 10,000 baht to pay for, building permit or this or that. They just handled it all in one stroke with the plans.
And Brock says he had no permit at all. So in the United States, if you build a home with no permits, you can't sell it.
Right. Here you can.
They don't make you tear it down. They've done that in Maryland.
Yeah, you can build whatever you want to. My brother did that in Arizona. He built a nice place too, and when it came time to sell, it was a secondary home. They had to tear it down to be able to get a loan because it wasn't permitted.
I've got one of those nightmare stories. Had a kid
Oh.
that the guy that liked me. He was a good guy. Didn't have a place to live, and I had a little behind my house. I had 5 acres in Agua Dulce, which is right outside of like Magic Mountain. If anybody's familiar with California,
Yeah.
he went back there. There was an old building. I mean, just a fall down deal. And I had a nice little 2-bedroom. There was 2 1-bedrooms on the front of the property. And he said, "Can I build something?" I said, "Do whatever you want." The guy was the most talented drug addict I've ever seen in my life. He loved his speed. He'd stay up all night. I tried to help him as much as I could because I liked him, but he was never going to stop that. He built a better 2-bedroom house than the house I was living in. And my wife got in a fight with the renter up front, and I offered to pay this gal's first, last, and security anywhere she wanted to go, and give her money. And she told me to go to Hades, and took me 6 months. That's why I don't like rentals. A lot of people say, "I want to get rentals and then I can move to Thailand." In California, you'd have to put a gun to my head and you're going to end up shooting me because I would not have a rental property.
Same with me. Same with me. During the COVID deal, people were getting away with not paying, and the government was standing behind them. And too bad for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though you still had the debt.
Yeah, you're still paying a mortgage, or you're still doing it. But
right.
Yeah, it took me 6 months to get her out.
Yeah, that's horrible.
And then she, was in one of those nightmares. Let me shove all my clothes down the toilet and into the septic system, and it was a nightmare. But this house that this guy built, it was way better than mine. And because that, she called building and safety. Building and safety came out, red tagged it, and we ended up bulldozing the whole thing. Said sorry, to the guy. You put in all your stuff, but there's nothing I could do about it because I was selling the property. So,
when I was in San Luis Obispo County, and I had a 80-acre ranch, and I built a pool house basically that was behind the pool. They had dressing room and a bar and odds and ends, and they found that with a drone. And yeah, they sent me a letter in the mail that you've done some unauthorized building, and we're going to have to get it permitted and do whatever it takes to make it right. And I got to prove all this or tear it down.
Yeah,
man,
it's horrible.
Man.
I'll tell you what, you don't run in, and I'll tell you one thing here because I just saw Grays was saying something about taxes. Once you build your house, and Joe said it, I don't know, maybe Tim will know. Once you get your house built on your property, you don't pay any tax. No property tax, no nothing. You
in
don't
Thailand?
Pay anything. Yep. At least in
really?
Surin. In Surin. I don't know.
Well, that's where I'm going to be. So,
do you pay any tax?
You pay taxes on your vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife said the same thing.
Yeah, once you're built and you put your stuff on your property and it's all done and whatever, there's no taxes on the property. So it's weird. It's weird. And I
going back.
Are you sure?
Going back one more time to the permits, you do have to get a permit, but it's not a big deal.
According to what my understanding is here in Surin, they're a lot more strict in any city or province, the main area, than they are on the outskirts. They're a lot more lenient out there. But what it is that I saw was he took the plans in, they stamped the plans, and once they stamped the plans, that was basically approval to do everything on those plans. They were done. So whatever, it wasn't much money because he did them for nothing. He built the house and he got all that. He did it for us. He obviously doesn't do that for everybody, but I don't think it was much. And Tim would know too. It's minimal, nothing, to do. Once they bring those in, once they're stamped, you're pretty much done with them. They came out a couple of times, and for me, it was because of the bank. I think Tim's building his out of pocket. Joe built his out of pocket. My wife got the loan for, so they had to come out and check. The bank came out and said, "Yeah, you're this much done," and then paid. And another weird thing, when you do it that way, they gave us the money. The bank released $500,000 baht to my wife, and then she paid the contractor, which would never happen in the United States ever. There was contractors that go out of business because the the general contractor gets the money and he decides where it's going to go. But
so you don't have building inspectors there then that come out and inspect every stage?
I never saw them. No,
Yeah,
not like we have.
The head
my
engineer
building
at our
permits.
building-
I didn't hear it, Tim.
we have the engineer that I hired. He comes out and checks his workers like once a week to make sure things are on track and the way he wants them done. But I've not seen anybody come out there and want to see any permits or check anything.
I didn't see any. Nobody.
Yeah, in
I mean-
America, because they hang a little cheat sheet on the wall somewhere, and the inspector's got to go through and sign off every little phase of the project. So
Yep.
No. And
Yeah,
it's not
that's
just
good to
our
know.
house. They're building 2 or 3 others here in this same village. Not my engineering company, but like there's some people next door that are having the village guys build a house, and you can tell that. But nobody comes and checks anything. I mean, these guys are wound up on the roofs with no safety helmets, no safety chains,
yeah,
no harnesses,
I
nothing.
see.
Yeah,
I
OSHA would have a
see.
field day. OSHA would
Oh yeah,
be going crazy. If,
What's
and see, I
one of my
dealt a lot
videos?
with
There's
that
guys
too.
walking up on the steel. You wouldn't get me up there.
Yeah,
no,
'cause I did a lot of hospital work, so all my stuff was all OSHA stuff, and then they had their own inspectors and everything through, any stuff you're doing with hospitals or government work or anything. They had their own inspectors. You had to please 5, 6 different people just to get something done in HVAC or anything, electrical, whatever you were doing. But I haven't seen any of that here. Nothing.
No.
Nothing. They scare me.
You can hire
And
so
somebody
Australia's
to add electric to your house.
Brock says the Aussie rules are pretty much the same as in the States.
Yeah, it sounds. I would think so, and probably the
Yeah.
UK is probably very similar too. But
It's not stricter.
it isn't as bad as Mexico that I've seen when I've been to Mexico. But
Cardboard.
I swear, looking at these people when they started building my house, and I'm going to guess there was probably worker-wise in and out, electricians, this and that, 60 different people here, doing different parts of the house. Some of them laying blocks, some of them doing pouring the concrete, whatever it was. And all in thongs, all going across. And mine's a 2-story, but you've seen the roofs on Tim's up there. I don't think there was one instance where there was even any blood that I seen from somebody that cut their finger or do something out of all those people, walk at.
Yeah, on our house that's there in Surin right now.
Homemade scaffolding. I mean, it made out of wood that they chopped down,
Green
yesterday.
bamboo.
Yeah, eucalyptus. The ones that ours, they use those round eucalyptus stands, and they made their own little.
It's amazing. It's amazing to watch.
Yeah,
I've got one good buddy of mine that's here that he's been a welder his whole life, and he just cannot stand to watch a Thai person weld something.
well,
He
they
has to
don't even
close
wear
his
welding
eyes and-
helmets. So we raised the roof on our house that's there in Surin now. We raised it 3 feet because it had a wooden roof that was starting to sag and termites getting it. I don't know why they did wood
Yeah,
with
they
the
always
termite problem that's in Thailand, but we ended up taking everything off of the top of the walls and raised everything 3 feet because I'm tall and the house was built Thai style.
So people
So-
can't keep going.
Yeah, the doorways in the house were at 6 feet. So every time I'd walk through a room, I'd have to duck, or if I'd forget and turn and just go, I'd smack my forehead on the.
That's
If
the one.
we
That's
go
the
up
one
to
good
my
thing
wife's
about
sister's
this
house,
Why?
I'll crack my head in every doorway.
Yeah,
I've stood up and cracked my head on the ceiling fan.
yeah, same here. Yeah, so
I'm
we raised the
6'4".
roof. You're 6'4"? Yeah, I'm 6'3". Yeah, we raised the roof on the house, and they did all the steel, and the guys up there hanging with one hand and 1 foot on the wall, and leaning out there and welding with no welding helmet.
Oh yeah.
Logan's right. The cousin that built the wall did take a fall on the outdoor Thai kitchen and cracked a rib, I think. But the builders, I didn't see anybody get hurt. But I've been here. I was here all the time. I don't know about. You're right there too, right, Tim? You're I was far away from here. I had to drive over if I wanted to see anything. I couldn't just like walk out the door with my cup of coffee and, take
Oh
a look at
no,
what they're doing.
it's probably 1,000 meters up the road. It's a 2-minute scooter ride,
No,
if
that's
that.
Yeah, I'm literally going to be able to just walk out of the door and go out the gate and come into the property next door. It's right there.
that's cool.
I mean, if I can walk out the door here, if I walk out to the street, I can see my lot, but it's through the trees. But you got to go up the road and make a left to get in there. No straight. There's rice paddies between here and my house.
So do you have paved roads or dirt roads?
Part of it right now is paved. There's probably 150 meters that's not paved right now. And we've already been to the provincial office, whatever you want to call them, and we had to give them or sign over to them. How many meters was it? 4 meters of our land, so they could build a road. So that now the province owns our 4 meters of our land. They'll come out and pave it now.
They're supposed to do mine too. They still haven't. Mine's paved all the way up coming down my street. And there's 1, 2, 3 houses on that whole area where you could build maybe 20 houses, I'm guessing. So, but they did say they're going to come in and pave it, and they can't really. I mean, I put my wall right up to the property line. So if they want to take meters of my land, it won't work now. But the way that I built, but we'll see. But they said they're going to do it. If that would be nice.
No, is
Although
that
we have the
concrete?
car now. What's
Concrete
that?
or asphalt?
I don't know. To tell you the truth, they didn't really say.
In my
They've
village,
been
it's
out
almost
twice to
all
look at it.
concrete.
Yeah, they've been out twice to look at it. So hopefully,
Yeah,
they
ours
do it.
that comes into our place all the way down the road. It's about from the main highway. You have to make a right turn to go down about, I don't know, 300 yards. Then you make a left turn to go down towards our property. And that piece of the road is all concrete. And they say it's a 2-car road, but I don't want to pass somebody.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
This one's not going to be a 2-car road. You'll be able to move all the way over and go by one another.
Yeah, that's the way ours
about
is
it.
now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it. But
And I
hopefully
believe, if my memory
mine-
serves me correctly, the concrete road ends just past the property where the home is now. So I think where the new home is going to be, I think it's dirt in front of that.
Yeah, I hope they do it. I mean, we've got the car now, so she doesn't have to. We did bring in, I think I paid 5,000 baht, and they brought in a bunch of gravel and filled up the low spot in the dirt driveway because it would fill up with water. It'd come up above my scooter. So we did that. The person at the end of the road went in halves with us and did that. The person that's up on the front of the property, it didn't affect him, so he didn't put in. That's another weird thing here too that I don't really know. I've asked my wife. Okay, we built 4 walls. The front wall, I'm never going to see anything, but down both sides and to the back, if somebody comes in and builds that, are they going to give us any kind of credit or want to pay for part of our wall? And she said it's kind of a hit and miss depending on on what kind of people they are. They don't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, that's common here in the U.S. Is you should only have to pay half the wall expense.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, the outside of my wall on the inside of their property is going to be painted purple with pink polka dots, unless they want to pitch in a little bit for the wall. And they can look at that for the rest of their lives.
Right.
But no, I would never do that. But, they don't. She said it depends on the people. Somebody might say, hey, we want to, you put the wall up. We want to do something for you. Well, what it is, she doesn't know. But
so going back to the permit deal, how long does, from the time you do your plans or make your house plan and get it through the permit, how long would a guy expect that to take?
I want to say mine was like 3 weeks or a month, something like that.
I don't think mine was that long.
Yeah.
Like I said, we already had the blueprints paid for. We signed a contract with him on a Thursday or a Friday, and they were out there driving those piles in the ground about 3 days later.
Hmm.
I think mine was like 3 weeks for him to get everything done. But like I said, it was a little bit. You'll notice it's a little bit different. The further you are out away, the less they care about what you're doing.
Yeah.
The
Is that
closer
done
you're
through
into
the
town-
land office there in Sarin, Dave?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is.
And
All right.
the land office that you can actually go into any land office or the land office there, and they can tell you what your property's worth, which I didn't know. But it's right down the street from us, the land office over here. I want to say a stone's throw. I
That's
could.
a big new building, right?
What's that?
That's a
The
big
new
new building
building?
that you showed us.
No,
one
it's
day?
not there. It's down. It's down on the road coming to our house. It's actually a separate building. The new government center is awesome. That's the best thing about where we live right now is how quickly I
So
can get in and out of it. Go
the
ahead.
land office, everything is all in the new building.
No, the land office is right down the street from us, like 30-second scooter ride to the land office.
So
Right.
it's the same land office that's been there forever.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I
Oh,
believe
you're that
so.
close to it?
Yeah, I'm saying you come out of our street and make a right, and it's maybe 2-3 football field lengths down on the left-hand side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if
Yeah.
you've been there, you know where
Oh
pretty
yeah.
much where I'm at.
We every time we go to Thailand, we go to the land office every
And
time.
it's got to be the same one. I mean, I could verify it with my wife. I will, but of course, I keep the room at, I don't know, 20, 22, 23 degrees Celsius. So she's laying in bed with the comforter over her head, like she sleeps that way every night. So she's looking at her phone, I think. But
Yeah.
but I had a good time building the house. It was a little aggravating, but I was really happy with the way it turned out. I really I like everything that they did. And my wife picked the tile that we picked out and everything, except for the pink tile in the one bathroom. I'm still kind of getting used to that, but her and her mother love it. So it's
Is
kind
it
of
kind of
growing
like
on me.
Tim's wall?
It's kind of growing on me. But I do like the way the house turned out. And like I said, I think my house and Tim's house are pretty much the same size. And we say like mine's 196 or 8 or something.
I
But
think
mine's
mine
2-story.
193.
193. Yeah, I think it was really close. And I do. And the reason that I built this mine, and I thought that it was going to be my YouTube man cave, but it ended up being my in-laws' room, which is fine with me. But the 2 bedrooms upstairs are the guests or the kids' bedrooms, so I don't have to go up and down the stairs. Otherwise, I would never build a 2-story house. But the property had its limitations. I could only I had to build a 2-story to get what I wanted: 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. I needed a 2-story.
I was going to ask that. That was one of the questions I was going to ask also of both of you is what possessed you to build the specific house that you built? In your case, Dave, it's the 2-story house. In Tim's case, it's single level.
Well, yeah, and we looked at a bunch of stuff kind of similar to what Tim, we knew in our heads what we wanted, and we found somebody that we were able to scratch it out on paper and went back and forth until they said, yeah, that's it, you got it. And then we went from there. It was nice to be able to do that. So we built exactly what we wanted. And I got no complaints really. I the way that it went and the price that we paid, like I said, you cannot live in the worst possible neighborhood in California and buy a house in that worst neighborhood is going to be over $100,000.
Oh yeah.
So so if people ask me all the time, should I come to Thailand? Is it? Well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a big advocate of retirement.
Not only is it cheaper, I think it's a lot safer.
I think so too. I've never once in Thailand went, holy crap, what am I? This is a bad situation. Never been
I've
in
walked
that.
the streets of Bangkok at 2 a.m. and not had to look over my shoulder. I would not walk the streets of Baltimore at 2 p.m.
No, and I grew up in outside of. I did a lot of air conditioning work in South Central, Watts, East LA, West LA, a lot of tough neighborhoods. And when I went to work on AM/PMs, there I carried a 45 in my tool pouch.
Well, I was raised in an area that you didn't even have to lock your doors in Monterey County. We didn't lock our doors to our house or anything. Here we've got security doors and security windows. And Tim, in your case, then why did you go with a single level? Is there a difference in cost?
It had nothing to do with cost. The house we had in Maryland, it was called a Cape Cod, which was actually 3 floors. We had a full basement, a first floor, and an upstairs, which was all master bedroom and bathroom. And I got tired of going up and down steps.
Yeah,
and when I designed this house, I was talking to my builder. I said, what's the least number of steps that I can have to get in this house? He said 3. That's the minimum that you'll get a house off the ground here in Thailand. I said, I don't want any more than 3 steps. And I want everything on the same level. So, those were the plans that I was looking for when I came across that website that had a bunch of house design. And
if I would have had the 2 rye like we have in Ubon, I would have definitely built a single-story home. Not a doubt in my mind. It was a no-brainer. It's just that I couldn't get the 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, and the size that I wanted on this lot. It just it wasn't feasible. So you'd have to see the house to know what I'm talking about. But it's perfect for the piece of property. I think it's perfect.
We're both a little older, and if you read anything about accidents that happen to senior citizens, a lot of those involve steps. So
I've fallen. I can't get up.
You might live a little
I'm waiting
longer.
to break my first hip. I remember when I was a kid, we always went, how are these old people falling down? They always break a hip. I'm waiting. We'll see.
Or fall down and have trouble getting back up. Now I don't even have to fall down. I can just get down on the floor and I have trouble. I got to have something to grab onto to pick me up. Good for you. My favorite YouTuber just bought a new house. Is that the one I saw?
5-bedroom house, California with a swing.
Yeah,
Bakersfield. I'm in, or my house that I just sold and I had for 20 years is Bass Lake up above Fresno. It's about an hour above Fresno in the high Sierras. And I like that. Bakersfield's kind of, we went to the boat drags there. Lake Ming, I think was the name of it. I went through Bakersfield and did quite a few stuff in Bakersfield. It's a little on the deserty side, but
they also have a good NHRA drag strip there too. I've went there many times.
Let's see. That was me. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
When it comes on? I don't know how to get rid of those. I don't know how to not get notified.
I do, but I get rid of one, but then there's other ones that I don't know they're going to do it till it happens, and I can't even find my phone now.
Yeah, I got to figure out how to stop it. It does it when I'm doing my lives too.
Okay, another big question that people are going to want to know.
Sure.
Do you own your property? Can you own your property?
Yeah, that's a tough one. It according to Joe, you can only own a certain percentage of it, and you got to go through attorneys, and I think you have to open up some kind of an LLC, and you got to do this and that. The bottom line, as far as I'm concerned, I can't own the property. My wife can, but I think it has to be in an LLC and all sorts of stuff. That's not as easy. Can it be done? I'm understanding that yes, it can be, but you only own a small percentage of it, and it's a corporation or something like that.
And then when you want to sell it, you have to sell it through to them.
That I don't know.
I think that's what I saw on Joe's channel.
It probably that sounds about right. It all depends. If you're coming to Thailand and you're gonna build and you want to build a house, and you are married or you've got a significant other, it's I don't know. You have to figure it out. What you want to do. Me, it didn't matter. In my particular instance, it was a no-brainer for me because my wife's got a 2 million baht loan against her. If anything happens to me, basically she's the one that's it's kind of a different situation than some people. that come here. But I don't know. I think that there's a way that you could. I know you can own a condo if the certain amount of people, people own the land and that the condo's on. You can actually own in your name as a foreigner a condo in Thailand.
Yeah, but I think there's restrictions even on selling that.
Yeah, you have to sell it to some. Yeah, you're right. What they are, I don't know. But yeah, it's kind of it's one that goes around all the time, and some people say yes, some people say no, and I mean, yeah, to me, yeah, you can own it, but you can only own 13.6%. Well, do I really care about that percentage? Don't I want my wife to have it?
In the case of all three of us, we're married to Thai citizens, so it's for our wives anyhow.
Exactly.
And if something happens to us, it's going to go to them. So that's the important part is we're making sure that we're taking care of our spouse in their future, hopefully.
Right. I agree. Like I said, that's even if I wouldn't have married my wife, I have one retirement that I'm in the process of getting right now. I spent 7 years in the operating engineers union before I went into retirement. I just became eligible for it in January. And even if I hadn't have married her, I would have married her so that she could have got it, because I don't need all of that retirement. And if I take less, she'll end up getting 2 or 3 times what she makes with the government for the rest of her life after I die. And that makes me feel good. I want her to have it. You don't know my whole story, but she basically helped save my life. So not only, but I love her. I mean, she's my wife. But
Hi,
so I want her to have it.
Let's see, Yanni came to the show. Nice to see you here, Yanni. Okay, let's see. Going back to my list of questions because my memory is about as long as my toe.
No
worries. I covered the permits, own the property. Okay, for the electricity, you both mentioned that how you got it there. How hard is it to get it? What's the process you have to go through to get the electricity to come in? And do you have to pay? Is there a fee?
I had to pay. It wasn't that hard, just wanted money.
It wasn't much. You go to the PEA, I think it's the Power Electric Authority or something. There's offices all over the province here where we are, and you just go in there and tell them where, you got to ask for the meter, basically. You run your own poles and you run your own cabling out to your property, which is what I had to do. Like I said earlier, that cost me right around 40,000 baht, 3 concrete poles in the ground, 300 meters of copper cabling, and then some labor for the guy to climb the pole and connect my stuff to the grid.
Now, did you put in water?
Yeah, I drilled a borehole.
Well, I drilled a hole too, but I also paid for having what I consider city water, and they charged me 20,000 baht to bring that. And feet-wise, the length of a football field, and they charged me 20,000 baht to bring it to my property.
Now, right now, I don't think they don't have city water, or if that's what you want to call it, up that little street where our house is. I mean, they might come in and do it later, and if they do, I may jump on that. But I've got a borehole.
I did it because I wanted to have as many here in Surin. I don't know what it's like in Udon, but I've run out of water here, and not just for a day. I had to have trucks come in, bringing me trucks loads at 500 baht a load for 3 weeks during the dry season.
We had to do that at our house too.
Yeah. So I wanted both if I could do it, and that's what I did. And 20,000 baht, I thought it was too much, but it really wasn't. It's all relative, I don't know. But the water, I didn't pay much for the electricity at all. Like I said, I think it was 17,000, but I was a lot closer than you were. So let's see.
And all of that happened within 1 or 2 days. I mean, there was somebody didn't come in and put in the poles, and then somebody else come along and put the cable in, and then the guy from the PEA came and connected it all up, and it all happened in 2 days.
Well, the property in Newbon, my uncle, the one that we went and seen last week that we're going here, he's going to bring it. He's on the opposite side of the street down about, I go by football field lengths, 3 football fields, and then the property's across the street. He said just tie in at the house. We'll get the poles. We'll put it in by the wire and all. And he said he could do it for under 10,000 baht. But that's him, doing it there in the middle of nowhere. I'm out in the middle of nowhere, bringing it to the property, because if I do the tilapia thing, I got to have aeration and stuff. So I'll start out with electricity, even if I want to go green. But
okay, if I might make a suggestion, Tim, I didn't see it in your videos at this point. Maybe do a video from the main entrance area or the main street to kind of show what you have. Dave he parks across the street from his property and kind of videos what's around there.
So there is a video.
Take my drone.
You can send it to me. I'll use it. I did a video somewhere around day 40 where I talked about my added cost, where I actually walked from my house out to the main street showing the electrical hookup.
That must be you, Dave.
Yeah, is it me? I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe.
I don't know where it came from.
It might have been.
My computers don't make that noise.
I never heard the noise before either.
I did do a short video about added costs. I talked about the electrical, the concrete posts, the electrical wiring, the well that we dug. And I walked from my house out to the street. But I'll do another video. I think it's probably been a couple of months. I could probably do another one starting at the main street coming into my property.
You can't over-record. Yeah, you can't overproduce something on the process you're going through right now, because it's extremely important or interesting to people that are potentially going to be going through it. So you can't.
I think so too.
You can never do too much.
No doubt. He's going to have plenty to do.
You know what? I haven't, if I can find my mouse, I haven't showed Dave. What was that?
Oh, showing the house?
No, well,
yeah.
It's like they're putting, they're building the walls right now. Well, how much video do I need of them laying brick? Right? I mean, I can go up there and show you how much progress they make every day and take 3 or 4 minutes and do that.
I think that's enough.
Sitting up there for 8 hours videoing those people laying blocks.
I'll tell you, if you had a drone to play with, you'd be out there all day running it around that house, having a good time. They're fun. On top.
I'll tell you what. Let me play the video that I put together of Dave's.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to do Dave's real quick so everybody sees what he has going on for anybody who hasn't been following.
Okay.
We fell out of love like shooting stars, came crashing down, and we're building back up again now. I see your heart, see your mind, see all you hide. I won't let you go, can't let this die. When you lose yourself, I'll be right beside you. I see your heart, see your mind, see all you hide. I won't let you go, can't let this die. When you lose yourself, I'll be right beside you. I'll be right beside you. mine. I won't let you go, can't let this die. When you lose yourself, I'll be right beside you. I'll be right beside you.
But mine's finished now. But,
Yeah, I was going to say that. I basically took a piece that kind of goes off from where Tim is at this point to where Dave's kind of progressed beyond that. And Dave actually is living in his now. I'm so excited for both of you guys. I wish I was doing the same in the same position.
Thanks. Yeah, it turned out good. It turned out nice. But it was challenging sometimes to do, but for the most part, I don't know. You just got to be, here in Thailand, what is it? Sabai. You just got to roll with the punches. And I started looking at things a lot different when I came to Thailand that, I'm retired. What difference does it make if they don't do it today and they do it tomorrow? What difference does it make if they don't do it today and they do it next week? Is it really going to affect me? No, not unless I die between.
See you, Jake.
But Jake going to bed? Oh, no, it's early there, isn't it?
Yeah, he's got honeydews. Honeydews.
Okay. But the house turned out good. We had a big house blessing and wedding the same day, and we probably had close to 200 people there, and a big stage next door and dancers, and it was a good party. I wish everybody could have made it, but and it was during
You see,
this time.
the good thing about this now is everybody that's in here can go and look at the progress on both of yours, start at the beginning,
Sure.
and
Sure.
follow the process that they went through to get to where their homes are at this point. And you'll see where Dave has moved in.
Yeah, and I don't know if I have got them all under where you could put, what is it called? I don't even know. I'm not that great of a YouTuber, but to where it shows the progress that's just the house. So you can click on that and they go from the first one to the 27th.
Do you have a playlist?
Playlist, that's it.
You have it
So you
set
can
up
see
in a playlist where they can just go to that?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, just follow his
And you
playlist.
can skip around. You could skip around, but it's really amazing because some of the first videos have gotten more views now because people go back and they want to see when we were walking around.
It's so interesting. Even when it comes to the point of when you first decide, okay, this is the property, I'm in love with this, I'm going to build here, and you're walking around talking about your plans.
Right.
It's really a good timestamp for you, something to look back on in the future. And right now, I bet you haven't looked back at this point in that video for probably since you built it. Yeah.
A lot of people, and when you do videos, and this for Tim too, they want to know when you go to Taiwazadu or when you go to Do Home and stuff like that. They want to see how much the sinks that you have in mind are. And I got asked that all the time. Well, how much was this and how much was that? And so when I walked through, I tried to get a lot of the prices because that's what people were interested in. They want to know, like Bobby, if he's going to build something, oh, I like that toilet. Where was that that he was at? I like that one, or I like this sink, or I like that. And people go back and watch that. The very first one in the series was us going to, God, which one was it? One of the ones, Do Home, or one of the ones. It jumped from like nothing to like 1,500 views or something, which is a lot for me. But it was interesting. People are interested in that. I post.
See you, Logan. Have a good night. Thanks for dropping in.
Yeah, I don't even know what. Doing on an hour and 35 minutes. And then we were on for 20 minutes before we realized.
I got a good host. Yeah. For everybody that's come in late, we did 20 to 30 minutes of the show by ourselves. Didn't realize I forgot to go live.
That was interesting. But people are interested. People that are coming here are interested, I think, that are coming here to build. Yeah.
Sure they
And
are.
like I said, they want to know. When I used to like to watch videos of people walking through the supermarket. When I went to Costa Rica, I was there for 8 months. Before I even went, I picked out a couple of YouTubers that just drove around, motor vlogging. When I got to where I was going to spend my time, I knew exactly where everything was. I hopped on bought a scooter and started driving. Oh yeah, here I make my left. I go right and I'm over here. And how much is a pineapple? How much is an avocado? How much is the rice and beans? And how much is it going to cost me? Because a lot of people, me for years, I didn't really have a budget. A lot of people that are coming here just on Social Security, maybe a couple thousand a month or whatever, 17, 18, whatever it is, they have to be on a budget. Is it possible to live here? Sure it is. It just depends on your lifestyle. But people want to see that. At least that's what I've run across. They want to know, when I go to Surin, how much am I going to pay for an apple? If I want apples, if I want, and my main thing is, if you want to eat like you do in the US, it's going to cost you a fortune. If you want to eat Thai food and which is excellent, by the way, if you haven't experienced that, but you can live here very reasonably. Very reasonable place to live.
Okay, so we covered the water, covered the electricity. We already know what type wall Dave went with, which is pretty good. Tim, what's your plans for doing the wall, and what kind of landscaping do you plan?
So
This is a Tommy J question.
We will do a wall in the front and down the sides. But I was watching one of Brian in Thailand's videos here recently. The house he's building in Khon Kaen, that guy had like a barbed wire fence put along part of his property and across the back, and they're going to grow hedges. And I'd much rather have greenery around my house than concrete. So there will be some concrete wall there and a gate in the front. But I think because it's too rye, and one of the issues I have is on one side of my house, there's a pond. And to put a wall where that pond is, it's, I got a price from one guy. He quoted me 1,000,000 baht to build a wall on that one side of my property. And I was like, man, there's got to be other ways to do that. So I started looking at other things. And I think on most of that side of the house where the pond is, I'm going to do concrete posts and barbed wire and plant either
I think that's what I'm
hedges
going to do in
or
Ubon
hedges
too.
and bamboo, and create a green wall.
The only thing I don't know about
At
you,
least
but
on two sides of my property.
the reason I went all the way around here, although I would have because it's so small anyway, was because we have animals. So we got the dogs, so can't have the dogs running amok. When we go there, I think I'm going to do the same thing as you. Across the front, I'll put a nice wall in with a good electric gate, and then down the sides and in the back, I'll put up the concrete posts with the wire and the same thing, hedges or whatever all the way around, and leave it like that.
I'm not going to have any pets. I think the way we want to travel after our house is done.
It's hard to do.
I had two Yorkies when I was in Maryland and had to put them up for adoption. It almost killed me to leave those dogs. I had Spike just passed away. He was 18, and the female Yorkie we had, she just turned 14. When you have dogs that long, they're like your kids.
Sure.
And leaving them behind really hurt. So as soon as we got here, my wife started looking for a dog. And I said, no, we're not going to, because that's just going to tie us down to this house. We can't just go somewhere on a weekend without either A, taking the dog, or B, finding somebody to watch it.
You see, we got kind of lucky because my mother-in-law and father-in-law live here. So, like, we're going away this weekend. She's coming with us because it's her sister on the Ubon land. But my father-in-law is going to stay here. So the kids will go with us and we'll go off. So we've got 99% of the time we'll have somebody. And we're not as open as, like, again, my wife works. Like, we can't just take, hey, let's go somewhere for 3 weeks, So it's a little bit different, but I understand exactly what you're saying. Plus, I don't know, a lot of people here and I know me, I never used to be attached to dogs until I got old. And now, boy,
Yeah.
I can't be separated from the little boogers. You get attached or I do now. When I was younger, it's a dog, whatever. And I'd
Yeah.
go on my
Well,
thing.
I had a cat
But
when I was in the Air Force, and cats are much easier to deal with because you can leave the bathtub dripping and open up a 5-pound can or a 5-pound bag of cat food and go away, and the cat's going to be okay as long as the litter box doesn't fill up. You
Right,
can't do
right,
that
right.
with a dog.
I've
Yeah.
got
You know,
my first cat here in Thailand,
cats
the
won't
one
eat
that dropped
themselves
out.
to death. Dogs will.
I dig this cat, man. This cat is awesome. It just learned now, though, to how to climb the wall and get on the other side. So I don't know. It's going to depend on it whether it's going to live or not, because it thinks we have two big dogs that we got here that are about the size of a medium-sized German Shepherd, and they all love the cat. They play with the cat. The cat jumps on them. Their backs, the little dogs, they all play together. The cat gets out there and thinks that these Soey dogs are, oh, look, a playmate. That cat's gone. So I'm kind of hoping that doesn't happen, but we'll see. Everybody's leaving. Gray's leaving. Let's say, hey, Dave, get ready for. Oh, I saw that. What was it? I shut my phone off, Brock. He pinged me. I don't know what that means, but let me look and see. Okay. What is he? He just pinged me. He's just doing it to make me, so it shows up on here. What? So I guess maybe it was me that was making all that.
Okay,
weird,
so then
weird
landscaping.
Problems.
What kind of landscaping are you going to have then, Tim? Around? Are you just?
So my wife has got a green thumb. Part of the backyard behind the pool is going to be for her garden, growing whatever she likes to grow.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to plant some trees close to the pool so I have some shade. But she'll definitely have, banana trees, and she's already got a list of things she wants to grow. So we'll
So
see.
my father-in-law went on the outside of the wall on the
I'll let her
neighbor's
deal with
property. And he's got corn and cucumbers and the long beans and Thai spices and herbs and all sorts of stuff growing on this much land all along my wall on one side. And the corn is, I don't know, 10 feet tall already, and they're almost ready to be picked. The cucumbers were yay big and this big around. So he's got a green thumb, but we just don't have, most of mine's hardscape. There is a little bit of green. It's not quite as bad as Joe's, if you guys are familiar with Foreigner Joe and Gift.
It's all concrete, isn't it?
Yeah, 100% concrete. I have my daughter's dog. Yeah,
Yeah, no,
pancake.
I'll have a driveway and a patio, and then the rest of it will be either lawn or garden. There'll be some. We had a very large outdoor patio in our house in the U.S., and my wife kept that. It was probably 20 feet wide by 40 feet long, and around the whole perimeter of that was nothing but Thai vegetables and flowers. I'm sure she'll do the same around the pool here.
Hey, you know what I found in our front yard? First off, our front yard here in America, we have a
Vegetables.
mango tree, a lemon tree, an orange tree, a peach tree, an apple tree, and 2 cherry trees. Oh, and a guava tree. This is in our front yard.
Yeah.
Us Western people don't do that, but my Thai wife decided that's what she wanted to have. So our front yard's got that. Our backyard is all concrete. I have a separate garage that sits back in the back part of the property, and the all concrete with a pool. But behind the pool, there's a 20-foot wide by 30 feet long dirt piece. Well, I had to rototill that and furrow it and put in planter boxes, and she's got all her vegetable garden growing back there. So I know when we get to Thailand, I'm going to be doing a big vegetable garden.
And I dig it because I like fresh vegetables.
In the front of the house.
Yeah, but when I was growing up younger in our neighborhood in Reseda in the San Fernando Valley, back in the day, I can remember all the front yards. A lot of them had, I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, we called them kumquats. kumquat trees.
Oh yeah,
The little yellow fruits,
yeah,
and a lot of actually the red cactus, the fruit that would grow on the cactus, and
yeah.
also big back then was pomegranates. It almost a lot of houses had pomegranates in
They're
their
still
front
big.
yards.
That's
Yeah,
still big here.
yeah,
And
I
cherries
like
and
pomegranates.
plums are real
I love
common to be
pomegranate.
Plum
in
trees
this
too. Yeah,
front.
yeah,
Yeah.
plum trees too. But you're right. A lot of people don't do that. But I mean, that was the first thing my father-in-law did was I did a video, a little short on it. If you look at it, I took a walk down that side, and I've only been here since January, and he only planted it. God, I want to say like a month and a half ago, and he's already harvesting all these giant cucumbers and stuff out of there. So I'm impressed. I thought I maybe might have a semi-green thumb, but not compared to my mother-in-law and father-in-law. They they know how to grow at least the Thai stuff anyway. Anything I think, and it's all good, good stuff. It's nice to. I was just being annoying. That figures. Thanks,
Thanks,
Brock.
Brock.
Were you getting bored? Were we talking too much, or what? Was I rambling? But
You're always rambling, Dave.
I do ramble. I do ramble. If you guys ever come and
Let's
watch
see.
my live streams, you'll understand. You'll understand if you watch one.
Okay, let's go to another one that's a big subject, especially in my house, and apparently it was in Dave's too, because in the house we already have there's an outdoor kitchen to where you can cook all your Thai food. Because believe me, here in our house in the U.S., when Jai makes her Thai food, we got to go open all the windows and doors and everything to let it air out. So we don't have an outside kitchen here. I do have a barbecue area, but I see, Dave, you built a Thai kitchen.
Yes.
So
Completely enclosed.
did you do a complete kitchen in the house?
From the very beginning, everybody knew that I was building a American style kitchen in there for me. I love to cook. I even like to bake, and I don't look like a baker, but I probably 10 years ago, I would have never admitting to baking anything, but I do love to cook pizza, Italian food, Mexican food, anything. So I'm just now got to the point where the Thai kitchen's done. They moved outside pretty much, because I don't know how it is with you guys, but with me, my Thai family here, they save everything. It could be 3 months old and it's in my refrigerator. Why?
Yeah.
Throw it out. Well, I might be able to use it. Not on me. You're going to get me sick. So I bought a big giant side-by-side refrigerator. She has a big, according to Thai standards, outside. And so they're going to keep most of their stuff out there. And I'll start cooking inside. I actually ate in there at my counter, granite top deal in there for the first time tonight. She made masiman, and I said, I'm going to come in there and sick. Usually they bring it into the bedroom. I'll eat it at the desk or something. So, but yeah, definitely. And it stays out there. There's fans. I told them I would put air conditioning if they want it. They didn't want it. And it has exhaust system out there and a above ground oscillating fan in the ceiling. Ceiling's high. I want to say they're like in here, 10, 11 foot ceilings. And it's nice, perfect area. Again, you can see it if you go on the channel. I didn't, we just finished it. I did it after the fact. We had already.
Yeah, well, hopefully that's the point of this show, is familiarize everybody with the building process and to go to your channels to actually see it. I mean,
yeah, sure.
it is extremely interesting. So please do go check out the channels and subscribe to them if you would. And
Yeah,
throw them a thumbs up. And while you're at it, if you could do the same with me, if you're not already.
That's right.
I'm not building anything, but
it's interesting because me and Bobby met pretty much when he started his channel. I was starting mine too, and we got.
It'll be 2 years ago next month. May. I started.
Because I was really concerned about him too, because in fact I was talking to my wife about it the other day. We would talk occasionally back and forth. I would watch his videos, he would watch mine. We'd comment and talk back and forth, and all of a sudden, poof, he was gone. And I'm going, what the heck happened? And well, I was honestly concerned. And I was talking to Robert about it. Have you heard from Bobby? Is something going on? And whatever it was, because you don't know. I mean, tomorrow I could die. And who would know? My wife's not going to jump on YouTube and go, Dave says goodbye. See y'all guys later. You don't know, you know.
It was pretty crappy on my part. I took a 2.5 month break because I got pissed off at YouTube. I was monetized, and it's like you make 0.01 cents a day. Really? For all the work I'm doing? And I did some soul searching and got to thinking about it after a while that I'm not doing it for the money. Who cares? I'm doing it for the friendships I've gained around the world. And if I get money, it's going to be somewhat like you and other people do. We're going to support other people with it.
Exactly. And that's where it goes with my wife and back into Thailand. But it isn't something that I do for money. Obviously there isn't a button unless you're cranking out, a video every day. You've got 100,000 subscribers and, you could make a so-called living, but I have my retirement. I'm retired. But I'll do this until I'm not having fun anymore. And the people that I've met, Bobby and Brock and all the people most of the people that are in here, ET and all, they're all good people now. And I'm in Surin, so I'm not like in Pattaya or, on Phuket anymore where there's, a lot of things happening. I mean, here, I go
tons of video opportunity. Yeah. In Surin, you don't have quite so much.
I go to bed at 9 o'clock. I get up at 5. 5:30 in the morning. But the people that I've met are great, and it's fun. I agree with
Dave. I only got into this. I mainly started recording the videos for my house, so our daughter and son-in-law and other friends and family members in the U.S. could see what we were doing over here. It's a 12-hour time difference, so it's not like you can just ring them up at noon and say, hey, how's your day going? Because they're in bed asleep. And they're not going to call you at noon because you're in bed asleep. And I just thought this would be a good way for us to kind of stay in contact. They can keep up to date with what's happening on our house. I'm not big into videoing all the food that I eat. So my wife would, she's a typical Thai person. She cooks something, she's going to take 1,000 pictures and then complain that her phone is full.
Yeah.
You've taken 8,000 pictures of papaya salad. How many pictures of that do you need? Well, that one I made yesterday. This one I made today.
Yeah.
Well, with me too is that's why I try to keep things on a nice, no cussing. I try not to cuss. Occasionally it'll come out here and there, but and keep everything clean. Although we did talk about politics a little bit today, which we never do. But anyway, my grandkids, I've got 4 grandkids, and 20 years from now, 30 years from now, when I'm gone, they might want to pop onto YouTube and say, oh, there's my crazy grandpa talking about Thailand, something for them to see. And to tell you the truth, between Facebook and YouTube, that's how I keep track of all my family. I go on Facebook. Do I comment on there or do any of that? No. But I tell you what, if somebody falls over out of the 100 relatives that I have that are on there and they stub their toe, I know about it the next day. Who had a baby? What's the baby's name? They never call me up. They're not going to call Thailand. Let's let Dave know what's going on. They don't care. But I do. I want to know if my cousins had a baby or their kids. And, because it's as you get older in years, you kind of wonder about stuff, or I do anyway. But it's kind of like I know a lot of people that are doing it just to have something for a lot of them are older guys with younger children, and they want to leave something for their child to watch down the road, and they do it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with it as long as you're having fun. And I'm having fun. It's not a very good vlogger. That's all. But
that's the same with me too. I'm inconsistent. I try. I just don't have the greatest areas to go. I mean, to me, it seems like all around Southern California, it's not the greatest, but a lot of people love to see stuff around here.
I think they want to come. I knew nothing when I was in Costa Rica. One of the guys that I became friendly with, 2 of the guys that I became friendly with, but one of them had a friend that came there for 2 weeks to visit him, and he lived in Bangkok. He'd been there for 3 years. I would always curious about Thailand, but never been there, never knew much about it. And he told me about it. Then I started working on my wife, and she was one of the people that it's a third world country. They go to the bathroom in the streets, and they're all dirt, and the cows come into the house. And she had, God knows where she got this information. But I finally talked her into it. And what does she do? She gets cancer and dies, which kind of sucked. But I ended up coming. Glad I did. Met a wonderful Thai lady. Going to spend my days until I'm done with her and enjoy my life here in Thailand.
It's the same with me. I'm keeping Jai as long as she'll have me.
Yeah, exactly. Was that me that whistled again? I don't know.
It's probably
Sorry,
Brock.
guys. It might be.
Yeah,
I don't know, because I got my phone. I shut my phone or took it off the live stream, and I think I'm still making noise.
Brock said you went to sleep because you froze up for a little while.
Did I?
And now
you're
real.
Talking, though. I was still rapping.
Yeah, I could hear you talking. Just you were froze up.
Good. And then I saw when I looked at it, you guys were spinning, and then came right back. So
yeah,
maybe it's my connection. See, that's another thing too. Is the Wi-Fi here? It's great. I got 200 up, 200 down, or 300 up, 300 down. But the bandwidth is what you gotta. And I don't know a lot about it. I'm about as techie as Bobby. You know, I don't know much about computers and stuff, but I have my phone right now is doing stuff on the internet. My wife's lying in bed underneath the covers with her phone like this. My mother-in-law and father-in-law are both in the living room on separate phones, and I got 3 kids upstairs on phones. So the bandwidth is not good, even though it's fast. When there's no one here,
has some of the best internet in the world.
I think so too. But I wired. It hasn't got. I wired this house and paid for it in Cat 6 cable to this bedroom to every TV, just to have it. But they haven't came in and tied it in yet. And I think once I do that, I think I should be fine. But I don't know. And the kids are only here like 3 months out of the year. Most of the time they're gone. But mom and dad, boy, they got to have their YouTube. They got to watch. He's got to watch his billiards and fighting and singing and monks, and they have to have their YouTube just like the kids do. It's amazing. And he just turned 77 day before yesterday. So
around my age.
For a 77-year-old.
Yeah, my mother-in-law is my age. My mother-in-law is 65. So it's kind of a weird deal here in Thailand, though. I never got a weird look, never got a stray comment from them about that age. I don't know if that's me or not. Yeah, I don't know.
That was me.
Oh, that was you. I don't know. He's doing that because I'm rambling. But if you come to Thailand and you're coming here to retire as a couple, it's very reasonable to do. You can make it very easily on both having a decent Social Security. You don't need much. I live way beyond my means on $3,000 a month, so and have plenty of extra money. So it's very reasonable. I don't know how many people, but we were talking about that before. You had said something. What did you say about people watch because they want to come? It's a great place to want to come to. I'll tell you that much. I apologize.
I don't know why that's doing that. I just looked and my chat is muted.
Your chat is muted?
Yeah, the line. That's the one that's doing the notification. And it's muted.
Yeah, see, I closed my line, although I have another. Let me close this window. Hold on a second.
Well, that was me that time, though, Dave. It wasn't you.
Yeah, Brock's going to come on just to aggravate me now and do it again here in a minute.
Yeah, Brock, come on the stream here and you can talk with us.
I do ramble, though.
That's all right. It was really interesting the last time Brock came on with us.
Yeah, Brock's great.
His wife at the end made the show.
I missed that one, I think.
Yeah, I've pretty much concluded the questions that I had to ask of you guys. Is there something more you can think of that
Or is there anybody that's left? I don't know how many people are, because I shut off
I
my
don't
phone. I
I don't
can't see
either.
how
How
many
do I
people.
know?
It should be on yours. You should be able to see up in the corner how many people are in. But if you guys have any questions for me, and I'm sure Tim's open to answering here. My wife, 28 years younger than me. She's been in the U.S. going on 8 years. Yeah, my wife's 42, and I'm 65. I don't know how many years that is.
I just
But
clicked over to the YouTube page and it just shows 5 watching now.
5 watching, I didn't turn on mine. There was
So
up to
Brock,
20. There was up to 20 at one time. Hey, Brock, what's going on? There was up to 20, I think,
We got
at one
37
time.
likes or 37 thumbs up.
I've seen 20 in there, I think, is people that were in there. I was going to go on real quick.
Yeah,
See
5 watching at the moment.
Is that it?
yeah,
Yeah.
everybody got tired of listening to us babbling on.
I got eight watching. But I don't know. Brock, do you have any questions? But you know, I don't know. I'm whatever you guys want to do.
I think your alerts, Bobby, are coming from Tom posting a whole heap of stuff at the Wombat.
It
Oh,
is.
Thomas?
Yeah, it is.
I closed my line. So
Well,
he's the one.
I didn't close it, but I muted it. I don't know why it's still doing it.
I closed mine. It seems like when I mute it, it still makes noise. But
Yeah, your family must be really eating up your bandwidth because you've been fuzzy for a while.
yeah, I don't know what that. Yeah, it's late enough. They're probably all doing something. But David's gone to sleep, is what Brock said. I think I'm going to let Brock take my place, and I'm going to go get ready to crash. What time is it? Wow, 9:30. I haven't been up this late.
Oh yeah, it is late there. I keep forgetting. It's only 7:30 here.
Morning over there. I
Yeah.
actually feel more awake now than when we started. I drank my little shot glass of coffee, and I was all right. But I will. I don't think there's anybody that has any questions. Anybody have any questions for me? Only Brock.
Yeah,
Brock
I'm
will
not
write
seeing any
something.
questions.
I haven't seen anything either. Now there's 6 in the chat. So I think I'm going to cut. If you guys don't mind, I'm going to go.
Yeah, okay, Dave. Thank you very much for coming in.
Oh,
Anybody that's
anytime.
still here, and the good thing about it is people are going to watch it back. And please do subscribe to both these guys, or all 3 of them now. Brock here as well has a channel. So
now, see,
connect
I was
with
going
these
to tell you
guys.
something real quick in case you want to know this, unless it doesn't matter to you. StreamYard holds this whole deal. You have a whole, what are you saying? He's got the whole show. When you end this, you can go back and the whole thing's in there. The reason I'm saying that is you could probably pull that into your editor and take out the first 15 minutes or 20 minutes if you wanted to, and then and repost it as a thing. I don't think it matters. I mean, probably funny to most people. It was funny to me.
Take
I thought it was great.
20 minutes of rambling.
Well, will it even show up the first? Because I didn't go live.
Oh,
Or
that's
YouTube
true.
did
it
go.
might. In
the chat was
YouTube, it'll probably show up just blank with that blank screen waiting for
For the show.
It'll just show that, but
Yeah,
it might not
20
even
minutes
record that.
chat.
I don't know. It'd be interesting to find out. I guess we'll find out what it does. It'll be interesting. It was pretty
It's
cool.
got the 20 minutes of chat showing.
You know what I do? I've got the intro and the outro that Richard did for me. When I start, I go up and I have the video open there for me to click. I go up to live. I click live, and in the beginning of my intro, I put that little screen that pulsates, and then put that little camera. That all that's to give me time between I press live and I go down and I press the intro, and then it starts, and then the live will come on and say it, and then it'll start into my intro. Then I don't have to do anything. Once it stops, it automatically comes on me when it's
I
done.
do the same thing, Dave, except you guys were distracting me talking with me this morning, and I forgot to hit the go live.
Well, that could be. It was early too. I get for Bobby in defense. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning for him over there. So I'd have been
Jai was telling me there's something wrong with mine. I'm not getting what you guys. I'm not getting the picture of what you guys are doing. And then Brock or Tommy said they must be having technical difficulties, and it was.
Brock
it's a good thing that she did that, or else we'd
Yeah.
be still sitting here with nothing going to YouTube.
Well, let's wrap it up. Oh, we never went live. Okay, bye.
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
See you later.
Oh, hell.
All right, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks, Dave.
I will see you. I don't know if I'm going to do one on Sunday anyway, because I think we'll be on the road, but I'll do one in the next 4 days. So you guys all have a good night.
All
Thanks,
right,
Bobby.
Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks for having me. See you later, Tim. See you later, Brock.
I think I'm going to jump off too, Bobby. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Do you have anything you want to add that's different that we didn't ask? Something that comes to your mind?
Nothing comes to my mind off the top of my head, no. The only bad part for me is the anticipation. I can't, I want something. I want it yesterday.
Right now. Yeah.
And I walk over to that house every day and I see progress going on. It's just not happening fast enough. And I need to learn to be more sabai, as they say, and just let things happen. I mean, they're working their tails off, and I certainly want to be building a house in this kind of weather. But just, my anticipation is probably the worst thing for me to deal with.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to learn the sabai deal because I am very high strung too, and it's gonna be a problem.
High strung will slow things down.
It was definitely hard for me the first couple of months here. We would go into one of these government agencies trying to get something done, for our marriage, retirement stuff. And you walk into a government office in the U.S., they'll say, okay, well, you need these documents for me to get this registered for you. Go bring me A, B, and C. And you leave and you come back with A, B, and C, and they process all your paperwork. Well, that's not the way they do things here. You walk in there and they say, oh, you're missing paper A. Go get paper A. Do I need anything else? No, go get paper A. And you go get a paper A and you come back. Okay, now go get paper B.
Yeah.
Well, I asked you what else I needed, and you didn't tell me. So that's been my biggest frustrations.
Yeah, when you get frustrated with them, they slow down.
Yeah, and you can't do that.
Yeah.
After I think it was our third trip into the one government office, trying to get our marriage certificates and stuff straight. A supervisor called us into her office, and I said, look, I'm just getting a little frustrated. We've been here 3 times. The first time the lady said, go get this, and we went and got that. And I come back, and another lady tells me I need something else. Can you tell me everything I need to go get this done? I don't want to make multiple trips up and down the road. It costs me money.
Yeah.
Just need this. Just need this. Just need this. I went and got that, and it wasn't right.
Thanks for coming in, Tommy.
Those are the kinds of things you got to learn to deal with here.
Yeah.
Now it's already done, and it got my blood pressure up for nothing. They're just not forthcoming with information.
So, Brock, did you have anything to add?
No.
It just takes a little while to get used to. I think the longer you're here, the more you get used to it.
Yeah. Well, I don't really. I appreciate you and Dave coming in and discussing your story. It's exciting to me because I'm going to be going through this in the pretty near future, and hopefully the pretty near future. I don't control that part, but when we do, we're going to be starting the same process.
I would start now figuring out your floor plan and the design of the house you want. A lot of that you can do from over there. You know, get a good idea of what you want, and then you know, there's plenty of expat websites over here where I'm sure there's one for Surin. There's one for Udon here called Udon something or other. I forgot. Udon Talk, I think it is, where it's just different expats telling you their opinions on things in Udon. And you can find builders, you can find engineers, and then reach out to the ones that have. What I found worked for me was it's one thing for them to be on one of these websites that somebody's recommending, but if they don't have their own web page, I'm probably not going to call you because I don't know much about you. I can't research you very much from where I'm at. So I kind of did it that way. You know, if I could research you, you were more likely to go on my list for me to contact you when I got here. But I was lucky I found a good engineer to do my design. I think, what did we pay, 10,000 baht for our blueprints? It wasn't a lot, 300-400 bucks.
No, fine.
And he did my blueprints, my bill of materials, and he's probably updated that for me 4 or 5 times since I originally started contact with him, and he's not charged me anything else. And then when I told him I wanted to see some of his builds, he was more than willing to give me names and addresses of places I could go and look. And I took him up on all of those. You know, some of the builders that I talked to, I said, can you give me some references so I can go look at what you've done? Oh, yeah. Let me get home. I'll send that to you. I'm still waiting.
Yeah.
So, you know, if they're not willing to let you see what they've done, you probably don't want to deal with them.
Well, it's a good point about starting now. I brought this up to Jai last night or the night before last here that, yeah, we can start doing all that stuff now. And even if we don't do anything for a year, at least we have the house plans drawn and get everything prepared, ready to go. So when we get there, we're on the run.
Yeah, I didn't want to start the build and me not be here to watch what was going on.
Oh, me too.
That was a big fear of mine. You know, at least this way, I'm up there every day, a couple of times a day. If I think something's going wrong, or not that it has yet, but I know that I can pick up the phone and I can call Egg, you know, the engineer, and say, hey, I don't think this is going properly. Can you call them, or can you come out here? You know, I feel pretty confident that he would be all over that because he's always answered our calls. He's always been quick to respond to any of our texts. So, you know, I would definitely start with my blueprints and my bill of materials now. I mean, you know, the cost is probably going to change somewhat the longer you wait to come over here, but at least you'll have a ballpark figure of what that dream home is going to cost you, plus or minus some inflation or deflation, mostly inflation.
Yeah. Hopefully it's going to go down by the time I get over there, because with all the current situation going on in the world right now, it's driven the prices up. So hopefully those will start coming back down.
The other thing I've gotten lucky with here is since we've been here, the baht has been on a slow increase. So originally, you know, I was thinking this was going to be about 75 grand for the house, but because I was using 32.5 as a conversion rate, you know, the conversion rate now is over 34. So it's actually bringing the cost of my house down in my pocket. And I'm only transferring money over as I need it. But now that it's over 34, I think I'm going to move a bigger chunk of money over here.
Yeah.
Because when I was budgeting for my house based on what he told me it was going to cost, I was using 32.5 baht to the dollar as, you know, a number as a baseline. So anything over and above that is better for me. And everything I've done so far has been above that. Most of the money I've brought in here has been between 33.5 and 33.9 until the last week or so, where it shot up to over 34. Excuse me. I think right now it's running about 34.40, somewhere in that ballpark. Yeah, my wife just pulled it up. It's 34.47 baht to the dollar right now.
Wow.
So
Yeah, that's the highest I've seen it.
every
Mine's 23.5.
yeah, every 3,000 baht swing is another $100 you get to keep in your pocket.
Hmm.
Means you can spend it on something else.
But yeah,
We got here. I had sold everything in the U.S. We got here. The first thing that we did is we went to the Honda store and bought 2 scooters, one for her and one for me. Then we went to the Ford dealer and I bought a Ford Ranger, and we paid cash for all of that stuff. And then we started building the house.
How much is a Ford Ranger over there?
I've spent 23,000 American dollars
Wow.
for an XLT diesel extended cab Ford Ranger. It's nice. It's white. It's got big black wheels on it. It's a nice looking truck. It's
Yeah.
air conditioning, power windows, power locks. It's got the nice entertainment screen with Android and Apple CarPlay in it. It's cruise control. It's a nice truck. I drove Ford F-150s in the U.S. for the last 20 years, so this is just a little smaller than that.
bye-bye.
You got them?
Yeah.
All right.
But
That's a first for me.
no, he's talking
Yeah, I
about
think that's a bot.
Yeah.
But those
All
were
right,
all
yeah.
things that I had money. But you know, I had done a little bit of homework before we got here, because you can find out vehicle prices pretty easy on the dealers' websites here. What you'll find hard to find here is prices for scooters, because they don't advertise that.
I don't think I'm going to get a scooter anyhow. Our problem right now is I'm trying to make a decision whether we're going to get a pickup, because I'm at my size. I have full size F-150 F x4 here.
And that's what I sold a 2010 F-150 before I came here.
Yeah.
XLT. I mean, it was a nice truck, 4-wheel drive. It was set up to tow my 30-foot travel trailer. But I sold that in the travel trailer together and made money.
Yeah, mine's the Lariat, top of the model, top of the line.
won't
I'll
get
get
them
good
that
money
big
for
in
it when I
time.
sell it. And
You will.
also same with Jai's car. She's got a high-end car.
Yeah, my
You'll
wife
get-
was driving Audis before we came over here, so
Yeah.
we sold her Q5 back to an Audi dealership, and I made money on that. I sold my F-150 and it was a 34-foot Jayco travel trailer. I sold together as a combination set to an older couple, and I made money on that too.
Hmm.
I actually came
Yeah.
out ahead after owning the truck for 10 years or 12 years, and the travel trailer, I had that for 7 or 8 years. And
Yeah,
I came out ahead.
Jai's got a Mercedes SUV that's a 2020, and my pickup's a 2016. So they're both worth quite a bit of money for us
Yeah.
to sell and go over there and buy whatever we want. So I'm uncertain though if I want a pickup or if I want to go with something like a Fortuner, an SUV, because we're going to travel a lot.
My thoughts were it's only us two, and we'll be going due home and all those other places. I've owned SUVs in the past, and all I've done is ragged out the rear of them by
Yeah,
hauling stuff from Home Depot and Lowe's.
yeah.
So
That's what we're thinking too, because our property is a two rye out it's 4 kilometers out of town. So
that's what we have is 2 rye.
yeah. So
So, I
I'm
mean,
most likely going to have a pickup.
That's what I told my wife. I said, let's buy the pickup truck because we'll use that more on a daily basis. And when our daughter and her husband come over here, we'll just rent something because it's cheap enough. You can go rent one of those Fortuners for 1,000 baht a day or whatever, $30 or whatever.
Well, you say yours is a 4-door already anyhow, right?
No, it's the extended cab. So it does have 4 doors, but it doesn't have the big. What you're
Oh.
talking about is a crew cab.
Yeah, that's what I want. Do they have that in a Ranger?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, see,
And
that'd
it
be good enough for
probably
me.
It would have probably been another $3,000-4,000 to go that route.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Mine's the BT50 and dual cab, so
That's
it's got 4 doors,
is that a
more room
Isuzu or
inside.
what?
No, it's the Ford Ranger one that I have.
Oh, oh, okay.
The new ones are Isuzu.
All right.
But I'm really impressed with the Ford Ranger. I mean, it's got plenty of it's a 2.2 liter diesel. I went to
Yep.
Ko Chang. I got 40 miles to the gallon.
Wow.
It's got plenty of oomph when I want to pull out and pass somebody. And it's comfortable to drive. It took me a little while to get used to driving on the other side of the truck, but you know, for 50 years I drove on the other side. So,
Yeah.
and I
You
get
know,
more and more confident every time I go out. The only place I wouldn't want to drive right now is Bangkok.
yeah.
And
You
I've been in
know,
plenty of taxis in Bangkok, and it's scary as shit.
yeah, we're considering whenever I get there next time to rent a car and take off from Bangkok, but I'm not sure yet.
Well, if you left in the middle of the night, you'd probably be okay. I just
Yeah.
wouldn't want to be there in the middle of the day.
Yeah, I drive all around Surin. I don't have a problem with it. It took me a little bit to get used to being on the wrong side of the car and on the wrong side of the road, but with
The one
Brock, that's
thing
no
that
problem. That's the way they
No,
drive there.
the turn
yeah, we
signals
drive
and the
crazy.
wiper washers are reversed here on this Ford Ranger.
Oh, really?
So if I start to panic, and I want to hit the turn signals, I actually end up turning on the windshield wipers
Yeah. So
because they're
yours an automatic or you a
on an
standard trend?
automatic. Yeah.
Yeah. See, our Corona we have there now has a 5-speed, but you have to shift with your left hand. It's so odd. It's
Yeah.
weird.
I didn't want to. I didn't. I mean, I learned how to drive a stick shift when I was a kid, and I can still drive one. But for the traffic that they have over here, and when you're going into the towns or the villages, it's just too much. You
Yeah.
got to worry about scooters and trucks and people walking and buffaloes and dogs and chickens. No, just put it in drive and go.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's what I want to do too. Everything, her brother's pickup that we drive over there when we're there, it's I want to say it's a Isuzu as well.
It's probably one of the top sellers here. Isuzu and
Yeah.
Toyota are definitely the top two.
Yeah, his is a really nice black lifted 4-wheel drive, but it's got the standard transmission. You got to shift with your left hand, and I'm not used to that, so it's
Yeah.
weird. I end up having trouble shifting.
I drove. I think it was my wife's niece had a manual transmission truck one of the first times we came over here, and I didn't even go into Udon. I just drove it around the village here, and there's no traffic here, and I missed gears. I was going the wrong way on the gear pattern.
Yeah,
I was on the wrong side of the road when I came to an intersection. It was like too much to think about.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I was surprised. I took the pickup and we drove right downtown Surin to the market, to the street market. And I drove through that. And Jai said, I am so impressed that you were able to do that. It's so crowded, so much traffic there.
Yeah, I'm gotten used to how to drive through Udon now, but it's still you got to stay on your toes,
Yeah,
especially with all the scooters.
yeah. Well,
I'm going to call it quits, guys. I got to.
Wow,
you're breaking up a lot, Tim. You're breaking up and falling in and out.
It's getting late here. I think I'm going to call it a night too. I'm getting
All
tired.
right, Tim.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on, Bob. I'll
Nice
see
having
guys
you here.
see you on day
Thanks very
1.
much.
Yep. Take care. Good night.
See you next
Good
time.
night. Thank you for coming in also, Brock, spending some time with us. Thank everybody who came in and joined our show today. We appreciate everybody and hope to see you come back with us again next Friday. So that's it now.
Bye.